Hey there guys, how's it going? It's Afraid and welcome to my second Call of Duty upload of 2015, and no, I couldn't believe it either. I think most of you guys know that I'm just not enjoying this game this year, and I didn't even enjoy it last year, but I just felt inclined to have to play it, and I kind of grinded it out, and I think I made it to 5th prestige, I think, in Ghost or something, but yeah, no, this year I've just no, I'm not doing it. I'm not playing a game that I'm just not enjoying, and you know that I would love this game if skill-based matchmaking was gone, the connections were better. I would definitely be playing this a hell of a lot more than what I am, but I find myself at the moment, because a lot of my friends as well who used to play Call of Duty, just don't play it either, so playing it solo just really isn't fun. I'd rather play games that they're playing, and yeah, so yeah, the Call of Duty this year is definitely not one for me, but if they made a few changes, which we've all been asking for, which they just won't do, I'm starting to believe that they're just never going to do it, and they're never going to listen to us, but never mind. But before I want to get into this topic, I just want to say that my next video will probably be a Q&A video. I've gained quite a few subscribers over the last week or so, and I've had a few requests for them. So if you want to leave your questions in the description below, I'll be happy to answer them in the next video. And so yeah, leave your questions below. For my topic today, I'm going to be talking about developers and publishers and their business models for DLCs for games that have come out over the last year or two, and they all seem to be following a really ugly trend, which we seem to be going down at the moment, and we need to talk about it. We need to address it as a community, as gamers. So let's start off with our favourite, Call of Duty. Now, when that first came out, when I started playing it in Modern Warfare 2, you had the base game, which was all well and great. You had a good campaign, you had excellent multiplayer. Alright, it was, we can talk about the balance another day, but for me, it was absolutely brilliant. It was my favourite Call of Duty. Obviously, it was my only Call of Duty at the time, and it was just my favourite. I played and put so many hours into that game. I think that we all can agree that the content that we got with the base game was good. It was adequate. I mean, it had everything that we wanted. It had multiplayer, it had a campaign, it had Spec Ops. Alright, Spec Ops was a little bit of a throwaway mode, but I certainly played it with one of my friends. I think you could only play it in 2-player, but it was good fun, and you know, it was all there to play. Modern Warfare 2, they brought out 2 DLC packs. Now, both of them had 3 original maps and 2 rehashes, and the rehashes I didn't personally have a problem with. I didn't really play Modern Warfare 1 Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1. I didn't really play it, so playing them maps was like having new maps anyway, but I think everyone in the community agreed that the 4 maps that they picked for their 2 DLC packs were the best maps from Call of Duty 4. Then the next year they brought out Black Ops, which instead of having Spec Ops, they had Zombies mode, which everyone loves. But pretty much all of the Call of Duties since then, up until Advanced Warfare, had a pretty decent amount of content. I mean, you go to Black Ops 2, which I think probably had the most content, when you had a decent campaign, you had zombies, you had obviously the multiplayer, and I think with the multiplayer you had theatre mode as well. I think you had that as well with zombies. I think you had a theatre mode with it, so you had so many features in Black Ops 2. But coming around to Advanced Warfare, this game had the biggest development cycle. This had 3 years to make, and it's been shipped with the least amount of content. You've got a multiplayer, and you've got a campaign, and your side modes, I mean, is there? I mean, I don't even know what they are. That's how memorable they are. With Advanced Warfare, as I say, it's had 3 years to make, and it's had the least amount shipped. But now coming with the first DLC pack, which was released a couple of weeks ago, you have a zombies mode. Now that was planned. That is not something that they're gonna bring out or create, you know, when was this made? In November? That is not something that's going to be made from November till now. That is something that was predetermined. That is something that was always going to be in DLC. Now let's talk about Destiny, which was released last year. Now this has got one of the biggest cases for me for false advertisement that I've ever seen. Now when we looked at the trailers at E3, I think last year and the year before, when they was trying to promote and hype the game, there was cutscenes and different areas that just when we played the single player campaign on Destiny, it just wasn't there. But after the game came out, the community managed to glitch into certain areas, so the areas that were on these trailers are on the disc, but they're not actually in the game or the campaign whatsoever, but they have been released as DLC. Again, that's predetermined. That's another case for developers to make a base game and actually cut content out and then release it as DLC at a later date. I watched a video the other day that actually raised a really good point. I think that Bungie, when they released Destiny, I think it was at the beginning of October, they didn't have any competitors whatsoever. Even that year, they had no Battlefield. Alright, you had Call of Duty, but that's done by Activision as well. They had literally no first-person shooter competitor on the consoles at that particular time. So what the theory is that when they realised that, hold on, we've got no competitors here, we can cut content because people will buy this game anyway, and we will sell it back to them in DLC at a later date. And this is a trend that seems to just be growing at the moment in this industry, and it has to stop. Evolve is a game that's only really come out, I think, this week or maybe even last week. Now, it's a game that I'm not really interested in playing. It's not my type of game. I didn't play the beta. It just isn't my type of game to play. I never really played Left 4 Dead or anything. I think it's made by the same people. But what I have heard is that what is shipping with the disc is very minimal, and the developers have really emphasised DLC and what they're going to be bringing out in later DLC. I mean, this game I think has only just come out, or it come out on Tuesday. What is the developers doing talking about DLC before they've even released the game? It is ridiculous. And going by this commentary, you're probably thinking that I'm just against DLC as a whole. I'm really not. I love DLC. I love the fact that when you play a game that it does have that, replayability after a certain amount of time, it does get a bit tiring and you do want more content to play. It's just the fact that developers are deliberately cutting content from their base game, their game that they created but was ready for release, and they're deliberately cutting out content just to sell it back to us at a later date. It's just the concept of it is just really starting to rub me up the wrong way. I guess the point of the video is to raise awareness to what actually is going on at the moment with these developers, and pre-ordering games is just I wouldn't say it's the centre of it, but it's just not helping the cause. Now, I really enjoyed my time with Battlefield Hardline. I know I didn't really say that, I don't think I did say that in my last video, but I really did enjoy my time with it. And normally this is a game that I'd go and pre-order because I played the beta and I really enjoyed it, but now I just know that I'm just not going to be pre-ordering any games ever again. I don't think. I'm going to sit tight, I'm going to read reviews, I'm going to watch videos online, and then make an informed decision, whether or not I'm going to buy that game, Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a rating and make sure you leave your questions below. Obviously, if you've seen my Q&As before, I do give like little shout outs to everyone there, everyone's questions that I answer, and I'll try and answer all of your questions in the next video. Take care, guys.